Hello, guys. Hope you're doing well. This is TJ, and you're listening to Beyond the Ring podcast. And welcome to my Reliving the 80s Classic series, where I cover Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling episodes on a weekly basis. And today we're going to cover the 5th December 1981 show. So, without any further ado, let's get into this review then. So, we began with Bob Caudle and David Crockett, and they are on the commentary. And Sandy Scott actually joins them to give some updates on what has been going on in Mid Atlantic scene. And he says Ole Anderson is going to be partnering with Ray the Clipper Stevens, and Gene Anderson will be their manager, and they're going to defend actually the NWA World Tag Team titles. And so a tag team title defense is going to be it's gonna be displayed. I mean, it's gonna be played out in this episode. So very excited about. Was very excited about that. So we first get into this match. First match was Blackjack Mulligan Jr. and Jake the Snake Roberts versus Jerry Prater and Tony Russo. So these two guys are new for me. I mean, Black Mulligan Jr. and Jake the Snake Roberts. We have seen them in Mid Atlantic episodes, but Jerry Prater and Tony Russo is new for me. But this was a simple match where Blackjack and both Jake and both Blackjack were working out on the arm of Jerry Prater and left arm of the Jerry Prater, and Robert actually gets a Prater with a knee lift and goes back to work on the left arm. Quick tags by Roberts and Mulligan Jr. So really good working tag team work by Black Mulligan and Jake Roberts. Actually, Jake the Snake Robert is a one guy, like he works with any guy. I mean, he actually worked with the big guy actually. I don't remember his name. He works with any guy with ease. Actually, his tag team chemistry is very good, and this same thing was shown here, and he was very good. And some good chain wrestling, hammerlock, and whipping across the ropes, tackling side headlock and all, controlling them. And Mulligan reverses it, hip tosses Russo, and gets him back in a side headlock. So simple storytelling that was there. It was none other than Blackjack Mulligan and Junior and Jake the Snake Roberts, who was completely on the offensive part, and Jerry Prater and Tony Russo had got some offense here and there, but these guys were the masters here. And in the end, we saw Roberts takes Prater down on the mat with an armbar. Mulligan Jr. tagged in, and he slams Prater high knee across the chest on Prater, and he covers him and gets a pin. So Roberts and Mulligan Jr. gets the victory, an easy win. Okay match, I would say, a pretty decent match, you can say that. And the episode actually began with a pretty decent match, and we get to the second match. Before that, Big John Studd joins Bob Caudle for an interview. And Studd is excited to hear that Blackjack Mulligan is upset that he slapped his kick. So it's a situation actually that was played from last week. Actually, Blackjack Mulligan Jr. was attacked by Big John Studd on the presence of Blackjack Mulligan, his father, and his father is upset that he slapped his kid. So he asks that they re-air the clip of Studd slapping Blackjack Mulligan Jr. and he insults both Mulligans and says he always has the last laugh. He wants a match against Blackjack Mulligan and says if he has to slap his son again, he will do it. So this Big John Studd and Blackjack Mulligan Jr. rivalry is kind of getting to a hot start, and very important they actually gave here for this rivalry actually. So we get to the second match, which was Big John Studd versus Tim Horner, and for some or the other reason, announcers keep calling the guy wrestling Stud Tim Horner. Only it's not Tim Horner actually, and Tim Horner is actually wrestling on the next match. But announcers actually were keep calling this fella Tim Horner throughout the match. So, anyways, joke apart, Big John Studd's momentum match was coming. This was a squash match as expected, and Stud actually completes this match by giving him a backbreaker where he holds him over his shoulder and gets a submission win. And as a squash match, and it's not surprised to see squash matches in these episodes because we've been seeing from many weeks like this. So we get to the another segment. Sandy Scott returns to talk to Bob Caudle. He warns Gene Anderson about interfering in their tag title match. Sandy Scott wants to talk about the fans writing in about wanting a match between Roddy Piper and Ricky Steamboat. Has stated he was going to address this situation, and he welcomes Steamboat, brings out another full bag of fan mail, and then Roddy Piper comes out and he screams at Steamboat and Sandy Scott. Piper angrily signs the contract, and Sandy Scott actually says that if you're not signing, you can I will strip you from the title. And they were going to some it was fun to see Roddy Piper. I mean, Piper getting angry and yelling his style of Piper, and it's very nice to see it's very nice to see the involvement of Piper. I mean, yeah. So this is gonna be a big match actually, Piper versus Steamboat. So Piper angrily signs a contract and yells at Steamboat, but Scott actually kicks him out of the studio after he signed actually, and Steamboat signs a contract as well. And thanks, Sandy Scott has a good baby face there. And right after that, we got Sgt.Slaughter coming out, and he joins Joe Caudle and Crockett and lets them know he has been preparing Jim Nelson, his protege, for this upcoming match. And next match, it's gonna be and he also says that for the past week, he even punished him a bit. He says Nelson is going to be an angry man in the ring. But this match wasn't like a very good match like last week. I enjoyed the match and the story of last week that Jim Nelson had. But this match had aggressiveness, had the same style that military kind of style that we have. But still, this was an extended period of squash. Even though I thought about that Jim Nelson was going to get the victory, but this was pretty extended and pretty extended and pretty long kind of match. So still it was a decent match, you could say. They worked it very well with chin locks and hip tosses and big forearms across Honor's back. Honor fights back, and Honor actually also got some offense on Jim Nelson as well. This was not like last week's squash match. That was more of a squash. This had an opportunity for Horner to work on Nelson as well. So a good thing for him as well. So yeah, at that point, so Nelson in the end actually Nelson whips Horner across the ropes and takes him down with an elbow drop by Nelson. Only gets him a 2 count. Nelson whips Horner across the ropes and backdrops him. He covers Horner for the pin, but Horner kicks out again, and Nelson whips Horner across the ropes again and clotheslines him and covers. And that was the end. He didn't lock that Cobra clutch this time, but yeah, I was thinking about like we should end this match. Yeah, this was an extended kind of squash. So anyway, a decent episode that was going here. Nothing special. We get to another interview segment where Bob Caudle interviews Sgt.Slaughter about their upcoming match against Blackjack Mulligan Jr. So Sgt.Slaughter as well have the bone to pick with Blackjack Mulligan Jr. because these are the heels. So they are with the heels, and they are challenging the faces. He was going to be in the tournament to win the Cadillac Cup, but Cadillac car actually, but he pulled himself out so he could beat upon Mulligan Senior and Junior. And so Sgt.Slaughter from last week, he was saying he wants Cadillac, and now he's facing Blackjack Mulligan Jr. So yeah, it is what it is. But still a good heel promo work by Sgt.Slaughter nonetheless. He's really doing great heel work in these days actually. And Ole Anderson joins Bob Caudle then about the tournament to win the Cadillac, and he's confident that he's going to win. And Roddy Piper comes up and he says in a fun way that he joins them, and Piper said he might have to wrestle Anderson for that Cadillac because he tells him that I will win and you can have a back seat. And we can drive it on. And Ole Anderson didn't tell anything, and that was a fun Piper trademark promo and segment that was. I mean, wherever Piper is included, the segment, the whole picture is entertaining. The whole scene is entertaining, and that was the positive point of this episode. Involvement of Roddy Piper, and Roddy Piper's match contract signing was a big thing that actually got played out, because I wasn't expecting that signing could be happening this week, because last week they were kind of having that fan mail thing. I thought about that maybe 2 3 weeks would be going, but a good story there. I mean, yeah, the fans actually get what he wanted, Ricky Steamboat wanted, and he's getting that championship match. So we get to the another match, Jay Youngblood versus Jeff Sword. I mean, this was a throwaway match, but no story match, but still this was a good match. Jay Youngblood, he has a fiery start, he's quick, he's fast, and his wrestling style is very good to watch through. And Jay Youngblood begins with the match with quick leg takedown on Sword and gets him tied up. And Sword reaches the ropes to break the hole. Youngblood uses his quickness running the ropes, as I said, and Sword escapes and tries for a side headlock, but Youngblood breaks quickly. So the quickness was the advantage for Jay Youngblood. And Jeff Sword actually was having some strikes on, some offense on, some forearms on Youngblood, but he wasn't. Getting that, and Jay actually counters with some hard chops at Sword's chest. And Jay Blood, we know that how he's known about for that chops, hard chops actually, just like Wahoo McDaniel. And he takes Sword down and again gets another near fall, and Sword picks Youngblood up and drops him on his knee with a backbreaker. So small kind of opening for Jeff Sword, a small kind of control, but fans started chanting Jay's name because he's a very big over babyface. There the fans start to chant names, and they Jay actually makes a comeback, and his trademark chops. He chops him again, knocks Sword down. Youngblood hits the ropes, and the usual scenario that he does, and lands another chop, a double chop on Sword onto the chest and covers him. Good match, a decent match, I would say. I like this match, a good match, I can say that. But I enjoyed it, yeah. And after that, we saw Jake Roberts and Blackjack Mulligan Jr. join Bob Caudle for an interview. Blackjack actually said, Jr. said he's not afraid. So faces are actually came up, and Jr. said sad he's not afraid of Slaughter, and he will wrestle him anytime, anywhere, and he's more than prepared to take that US title away from them. And Jake wants to get rid of. Jake says that he wants to get rid of Ole Anderson and the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. So the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, if you don't know, is Ole Anderson, Gene Anderson, and this yeah, Ray Stevens, you can say that. But Ray Stevens is just like one of a kind of thing in this team. But yeah, that was the thing. And Blackjack Mulligan joins them, and Rug talks them about being from Texas, and they don't quit or run away. And he found that Sgt.Slaughter was indeed a Marine, but he said he was a cook. He also threatens to bust Stud's nose. So that was a promo from Mulligan, his father, Junior's father. Then, so good promo segment by for the Black Mulligan Junior, Black Mulligan with this rivalry going on against yeah, this. Uh, I guess so. Yeah, John Studd actually, Big John Studd, and Sergeant Slaughter actually. Yeah. So these names and all, it's pretty it's pretty not easy to remember or something. Yeah. So that's why uh, again, we get to the very good match, and this tag team NWA tag team championship defense actually, and this is Ole Anderson and Ray the Crippler Stevens, as confirmed before, versus Buddy Landell and Paul Jones. A good, very good match. And Buddy Landell, Paul Jones actually worked off very well by getting the quick tags and all, but and controlling the headlocks, and very quick tags by both the faces. Taking the strategy from the books of Anderson and Crippler Stevens, Ray Stevens, and eventually into the match we got Ray Crippler Stevens and Ole Anderson getting the upper hand in a wrist lock, goes to work on the left arm. Ole tells the referee to watch the wrist, and good work by Ole Anderson onto the limbs of Landell, Buddy Landell. And the selling was great by both Buddy Landell and Paul Jones, exceptional selling. And this match told a very good story. Stevens distracts the referee, lands a big forearm across Landell's chest, so faces were getting kind of difficult to fight off against his heels. And Stevens and Anderson keep Landell in their corner and beat on him and and tag in and out. And this was a time where Stevens and Anderson were in the upper hand. As I said, in the beginning, the faces were getting the advantage, and in the second half, it was the heels getting the advantage. And he tells the referee to ask Landell if he gives up, as he was working on the left arm of Buddy Landell. Buddy Landell punches his way out of the wrist lock. Very good selling by Landell, exceptional man. But Ole attacks in Stevens, and Stevens goes to work on Landell and continues to go after his left arm. Landell throws a few punches at Stevens, but he tags Ole. Anderson lays in some forearms again. So keep working on it by tagging in and out. And referee tries to get Jones out of the ring. Ole Anderson grabs Landell and tosses him right at Stevens, which knocks both Landell and Stevens down. So Ole covers Landell for the pin actually, as he was knocked down, both Landell and Stevens. So this got Ole got the victory actually. Stay Stevens shoves Ole Anderson off, as this was the scenario actually played out, as they were the tag team champions. So they Ole Anderson and Gene Anderson took off the belt, and but Ole Anderson took the belt, as Ray Stevens also have the belt of tag team title belt. So he wasn't happy because he actually got the victory here, but he wasn't getting the he wasn't getting the appreciation for that. They actually sacrificed him for the in the expense of in the expense of in the expense of the championship and the victory. So they don't want to have to face these guys, so that's why he was escaping that situation. So Ray Stevens didn't like that, and that actually have Ray Stevens actually spit on him, and that actually erupted the fans. Man, this small group of fans is so much fun to watch, man. At that time, a small group of focused wrestling fans. Yeah, it's great to see this kind of, yeah, very nostalgic kind of feeling. And Ray Stevens actually shoves Ole Anderson off Landell and starts arguing with Ole. Gene Anderson is shown holding Paul Jones by the leg. Landell lays in a few forearms at Stevens. As I said, Landell whips Stevens into the ropes, but Stevens catches him with a knee lift and covers Landell for the pin. So Stevens actually with a knee lift and covers the pin. And Ray Stevens then grabs one of the belts away from Ole Anderson. Gene and Ole start to scream at Ray Stevens before they leave, unable to grab hold of the other title. So Paul Jones and Jake Roberts and Ricky Steamboat after that join Bob Caudle for a promo. So normally promos are actually in the end, but this was before a match actually, as they actually Jones talk about how no one can get along in Mid-Atlantic, and Roberts and Steamboat agree about there being a lot of bad blood at the moment. And Blackjack Mulligan Jr. vows to win the US title from Sgt.Slaughter. Again a decent babyface, a good babyface promo. So promos and segments weren't like last week's, but still the contract signing, the Pipers mocking on Ole Anderson, and the very good tag team match. That was the spotlight on this episode. A pretty fun episode this was. And we get to another squash match. I don't know why it was. This was Carl Fergie versus Larry Hamilton. Quick average squash right there. Didn't want to be this. If they actually omitted this would have been a good episode, I would say that. So, but still, Hamilton with some nice counters on Fergie, and Fergie gets Hamilton with a neck breaker and gets the pin. Nothing to say about. And after that, we saw Ray Stevens joins Bob Caudle and says Ole Anderson has cost him a lot of money. He says Ole cost him a world championship in the past, and he tried to sacrifice him in the tag match tonight, like he did his stupid brother. He knows Gene is all Ole's brother, and he's going to stick with him. And Steven says, "I don't want to be his brother," and doesn't want to be his brother. He thinks he got rotten and stink. He says no one in pro wrestling is going to make a fool of him. He tells Ole then that if he wants his belt back, he can come and get it. And if he sees Ole on the streets or anywhere in the back alley, he's going to kick his ass. He says, good ending, a very good promo laid out by Ray Stevens. This is the first time I had listened to Ray Stevens promo, a great promo by Ray Stevens, ending this 5th December 1981 show. A fun show, went I enjoyed it. I mean, it went very breezingly, very quickly. I could say that in the beginning, 2 3 matches were not that good, but after Jay and Blood and all, and the tag team championship match, that was great, and that actually made this episode pretty fun to watch. So this was this episode. So the main talking point, the main outcome of this show was the contract signing of Ricky Steamboat and the Ricky Steamboat and Roddy Piper, and of course the Cadillac Cup. So I happened to be searching for this episode, so I haven't. I'm isn't getting this episode of this where Cadillac Cup tournament, Cadillac Car tournament actually took place. So I'm not getting that, but still. I hope so. I don't know. I would be able to do this that review, but still we'll be continuing with this weekly episode. So I hope you like it. I'm actually doing my best as possible, best way possible. So please make sure to like this video, share it with your old wrestling friends, and subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content like this. And to relive 80s classics, we could watch this series and enjoy, man. So I hope you enjoy it. Please make sure to be safe, stay energetic, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.